Really hoping the internet kicks on and stays on here, guys. I'm really sorry if it doesn't. I've tried probably about 30 times to get this live stream going. So we'll see what happens. Man, I've had an eventful afternoon. Very eventful. Whew. Very, very eventful afternoon. So as the title of this video says, it says that I lost one snake. No, dude, I only just started. It's I've just had to tear the garage apart trying to look for snakes. So don't feel like you're late. I'm late, and I've been having really bad internet connectivity. I think it's just due to the rain and everything that I've got here. So, long story short, just trying to feed my pain of a brown tree snake, and then she decided to absolutely leg it. So this whole wall along here, this whole wall of enclosures, she got down behind it, and I wasn't going to let her go, so I had to kind of focus on that for a few minutes, or the better part of the last half hour or so. I did finally get her back. She is in the box over here, angry as all sin. Yeah, she's still got a mouse in there. I just went to feed her and she's just, all of a sudden, she just shot out over the top of me. Next thing I know, she's down behind everything. But I'm so stoked I got her back. Oh, yeah, she's a little asshole. Sorry, kids. But the complete caveat to that is the fact that I found another snake. Now, a little while ago, a good friend of mine, he had 2 marble children's pythons that he gave to me to try to get them feeding for him. They were just being stubborn as hell. Anyway, so he bought me a pack of pinky mice, gave me the snakes. I put them up there in the incubator over there in some little Tupperware containers and started cooking them, getting them nice and hot. And I fed them 5 meals each. I'm like, man, these things are golden. They're coming back to you tomorrow. And went to pack them up the next morning and one was gone. Absolutely no idea how it got out. But not only did it get out of its tub, but it got out of the incubator. And just as I was looking for this brown tree snake, I was pulling all the racks out. I got the snake rack just under pretty much where you guys are now. I was pulling all the snake tubs out, just looking behind them and stuff, trying to find that brown tree snake. And there's the little children's python just sitting on one of the heat cords. So, at least I know he's been getting warm enough. Poor little bugger. There's this little tiny marble children's python just sitting there. So I haven't told him that I found it yet. He's a little bit cold at the moment, so maybe I'll hold on to you and warm you up, or I'll put on the incubator again. But he's in a good tub now. He's in one of the Systema tubs that's got the nice lock. So Dane, if you're watching, I got him. And I'll be keeping him in this tight little container, and I'll go and keep him nice and warm overnight, and I'll be shooting you a message shortly. So anyway, I've just seen a few comments come up. Yeah, Harley, it was incredibly lucky. Not only was it super lucky to find Dane's snake, that's, to be honest, I felt so guilty about that. That snake's been on the loose now for, I'm going to say the better part of like 6, 7, 8 weeks even. Like, it's been a while, hey. So I'm very stoked to have that animal back in my possession, and hopefully I'll get a meal into him and send him on his way home, and I'll warm up the incubator for him tonight so he stays nice and warm. But yeah, the fact that I got my brown tree snake back, well, I'm absolutely stoked. But I'll tell you what, like, behind here is Redback City. So yeah, unfortunately had to squash a few of those. Not that I wanted to, but it was just in haste that I needed to get behind there and work and not be scared about a redback coming to bite me on the bum. So yeah, Dane is going to be stoked, EJ. I'm absolutely ecstatic, so that's awesome. Hey mate, how you going? McKim? Hopefully I said that right. Tell me if I didn't, and tell me how to pronounce it. I don't like screwing people's names up. What an adventure. So yeah, It's not the first time I've lost a snake. I wish my 2 green tree pythons that legged it would come back, but unfortunately I think they're long gone, so awesome. Glad I didn't screw it up for you. Yeah, so, yeah, anyway, what do? You know, sometimes you lose them and they don't come home, unfortunately. I've lost a couple of green tree pythons that haven't turned up, so whether somebody's found them and thought you beauty and kept them, or, to be honest, I reckon they've been taken by a powerful owl, so I've owned 4 green trees in total, and for ages, and this is completely my fault, 100% keeper error, happy to take it, not proud of it whatsoever, learned from my mistake. But the green tree python, the last enclosure that I had, the melamine one, the white one, whenever I went to pair up the greens, because I had two adult males and 1 adult female to begin with, I had perspex doors on the enclosure. Not once did I ever see the greens go near the door or anything like that. And one year, one of them managed to just scoot it out because I didn't have a lock on it. Must have just opened it an inch. Boom, gone. Where the green tree pythons are too, there was always like a disturbance of whatever I had on top of the enclosures kind of leading up. And just over the top of their enclosures, they got like a roller garage door. So I reckon they've just gone up and over, landed outside, either escaped into the bush, died, got picked up by a predator, or somebody else has found them and not let me know. Which is very unfortunate, but I've never found them. Yeah, so it happened 1 year. Exact same thing happened the second year. So first year I just thought it was like sheer dumb luck. One got out. Second year I didn't learn from my mistake. So I'm learning now. Now I've got glass doors and I've got these little plastic wedges on everything. So very expensive mistake. Very, very expensive mistake, so don't do what I do. Alright, let me just have a look through these comments here. Sorry guys, I'm just going to backtrack a little bit now. My Darwin was missing for 2 weeks, found him in my room, not far from his house. Sometimes it's the way, hey, they don't go too far sometimes. Hopefully my green tree pythons are still in here and I don't know about them. The blackout serpents and reptiles, I lost my brown tree snake. Whilst trying to find the brown tree snake, I found my friend's little escaped marble children's python, which is wrapped up here, pretending to be a ball python. And then after that, I pulled down pretty much all my enclosures. They're luckily all on wheels, so I was able to get behind them. And then I found my cranky little kamikaze down there, so managed to get them both, which is awesome. So absolute win for today. I'm absolutely cheering, so very happy about that. Let's just going to go through here. Scott Webber says, happened to me 15 odd years ago with my spotted, found it in the undies drawer 2 weeks later, luckily. That's awesome. That's really lucky. In the undies drawer, hey, nobody would be happy about that if you accidentally put the undies on without noticing it. Yeah, very expensive mistake. Anthony says, hey Luke, picked up 2 baby boids today. Can you give me some advice? Yeah, advice. I like to spray them somewhat regularly just to try to keep them hydrated. I do find that mine get a little bit dry in their enclosure, but this room stays reasonably dry during cooler weather. Like today's really cool here, so it's pretty dry in here, hence why I got the window closed. Just to try to get them to drink a little bit more. Plenty of hiding spaces for them. They are a very secretive animal, so I'll actually pop you not far from my boids. So I'm just going to do this old alley-oop with this thing, hopefully not dropping my phone. And yeah, so the boids are just over in here, so I just like to offer them a lot of food, make sure they're well fed. Today's actually treat day, so while you guys are there, I might give them a couple of worms each. While they are there. But yeah, boids are fantastic. I like them in kind of like a dense foliage environment, just because I'd like that. Come on, you gonna come out? Just because I find it a bit more natural. So, I mean, I am a bit of a sucker for the bioactive style stuff. Pardon me, guys. I've kicked up a lot of dust in my adventures and doing this, so trying to find these snakes. Wait, settle down. There you go. Right. Squabbling over food's never good, so do try to feed them separately if possible. You can see these guys are chomping down on each other now. Might try to get these guys. Come on, come down. You come down. There you go. You go up. There we go. Yeah, they can have a bit of a squabble over food, so if you do have a couple of them, just be prepared for that and just try to separate them where you possibly can. The last thing you want to do is get a little bit of damage on them. That's probably enough for you too. I'll just check back in with these comments. Give me 2 secs. Can you get Atlas the Olive out? Just picked up my first one. That's awesome, mate. I might not, just because I do have the smell of a couple of mice in here, and Atlas doesn't mind mice. He doesn't eat them just because they're way too small for him, but I'll see if I can get him out, see what happens there. I was going to try to feed the brown tree snake again, see how that goes, so you might see me lose it for a second time. Hopefully not. That's good. Yeah, I really love the olives as well. I've had mine since he was, what, 6 months old or thereabouts. Yeah, awesome animal, awesome animal. Very intelligent as far as snakes go, in my opinion. God, can't even speak English. You're at the grand final and you're cheering on in here. That's even better. Photo bombing Frilly. Yes, he is photo bombing. And that's because I got the worms out. He's a sucker for these things. And Sunday is the day that I tend to give him kind of like their cheat meal, if you will. So we'll give him a little bit. My Olive only eats chickens and quails. Yeah, you got the same problem that I do. Yeah, a bit of a birder, hey? My guy just eats extra large quails at the moment, so not too long I'd say I'm going to be starting to buy some small chickens and go from there. Go on, mate, get it in your mouth. I think he's thinking I'm too slow. Excuse me. Yeah, Boyds are an R2 licence, so in New South Wales you do need an R2 to obtain them, unfortunately. Same as these guys, the frillneck lizards. There's plenty of R1 lizards that you can get, or R1 critters in general. I might have to blow my nose here in a sec, guys. Hey, don't you come out. Jesus. You stay in there. I'm trying to feed the Kimberley rock monitor one. Give me 2 secs. Kimbo's absolutely hooking into that. See if I can take you down to see that. Even the monitors don't mind a giant mealworm here and there. Bit of a fatty treat for them, but that's okay. Excuse me, guys. As I said, I just kicked up a whole bunch of dust trying to find these snakes, so that's no good that most of them are R2 what you want. It just means you got good taste, I think. I've got a lot of R2 animals here now. Got what am I? Got the R2 green tree pythons, R2 boids, R2 frillneck, Kimberley rock monitor, mangrove monitor, Wyberba leaf-tailed geckos. Hopefully get some R2 amphibians soon. I do have a friend who I've got to actually contact to see if he is still going to get me a few frogs that I'm after. I'm not going to tell you which ones, just in case it doesn't happen, because they're really hard to come by. So I dare say that if I was to get them, I might be the only person in New South Wales with them. Maybe. Not 100% sure. Don't want to make that claim and be wrong, but I haven't heard of anybody else in New South Wales with them, so that'd be pretty exciting if I did get my hands on those. Here we go. Just going back through the comments a bit, guys. My Olive is 20 years old now. Wow, that's awesome. Hopefully he lives another 10 for you, I hope. I have been informed that my T plus Stimmy is currently in an egg. She laid last week. Hey, there you go. That's pretty exciting. I do love the T plus Stimmies. I think as far as Antaresia go, they've got to be my favourite. I actually really love these little marble children's pythons too, but I think if I got back into kind of like mutation stuff, marbles would be where I go just because the price point's pretty good at the moment. But yeah, man, T plus Stimmies, they're fantastic. I was always a Stimmy nut. How are my waters? I just got myself a 17-year-old female, and how would you handle a bigger snake? This old girl's my biggest python. I'd handle a bigger snake with respect because they can mess you up, especially if they're in a cranky mood. So just go easy with it and, you know, just learn the body behavior and make sure that it isn't going to be too cranky. And you know what? If it is cranky, put it back in the cage. You know, sometimes snakes have good days, snakes have bad days. You know, they do have their own personalities after all. Sorry, I'm just going back through here. As far as my waters are concerned, sorry, yeah, mine are doing pretty good. They're growing up a little bit now, so mine are still cranky as all sin. They, I can't really pick them up without getting bitten and bleeding everywhere, so it is what it is. You know, like I love them as a python species, so I don't mind if I have a couple of cranky snakes here that want to kill me. So be it. Just adds it to the list as long as, as well as the brown tree snake, because she's a bit cranky. Especially after today. How do you actually move to the R2 license? So basically you got to go online, print off a form and hand write it out and either mail it or scan it back into your computer and email it back to the licensing department. I forget who does it these days. Pay your money. Oh no, you don't even pay your money up front. You got to wait to get approved. And basically, maybe 3 months later, if you're lucky, they'll approve you. I think my R2 reptile license, that took me maybe 5 months or something to be approved for that. And I actually applied for my amphibian license, my A2 amphibian license. And I think I was approved for that for under 6 weeks or something. It was actually really quick, but I don't know why that was. Maybe it's just because amphibians aren't kept as readily in New South Wales compared to reptiles. But it was pretty quick. Would you say that putting a snake in a too big an enclosure is bad? No. Depending on the size of the snake, you know, if it's this big, then yeah, probably. If you're talking about a snake that's, you know, a decent size, like even a yearling or 2 years old or something, you know, not an adult but a subadult, I'd say go nuts, because most of them do pretty good in larger enclosures. Once they're kind of established and they've got like a little bit of decent size to them, not like this guy, sorry, then I'd say, yeah, go for it. I don't think you can go too big, as long as you're providing the snake with the right habitat, so making sure that it's got nice hiding spots, nice heat, nice areas to get away from the heat, you know, just adequate space is awesome. That's why I want to try to move away from racks and things like that and give my animals a bit more of a natural environment as well, just to be a bit more stimulating. And I want to do that to all my pythons as well, just like Atlas and the Green Tree pythons, enclosures and the roughies and stuff. The Green Tree python and a frill neck and a few monitors on my list. Getting some monitors hopefully at the end of the year. Oh, that's awesome. What monitors are you hoping to get? Do I have any tips on keeping olives? Not anything that's too out of the ordinary, I suppose. Like, they are just pythons at the end of the day. They're just ones that, you know, you need to respect them. Especially, I try to always show, I'll just give you a close-up of Atlas here, because he's just sitting under a rock. Yeah, you need to be able to show them a bit of respect. You know, they're beautiful animals, especially ones that are going to get a fair bit bigger. So I like to be able to handle this little guy, and he's really good at it too, but every now and then, you know, he just doesn't want to be handled, and that's fine. So I need to clean out his enclosure actually. I want to do a massive spring clean of everything here, so I'm actually hoping to have somebody give me a bit of a hand with that. I have a friend through work whose wife needs to volunteer somewhere with reptiles, so she might be hopefully giving me a bit of a hand to clean a few things out just slowly and get everything prepped. And probably when I get everything looking real schmick in here, I'll do another reptile tour video. Excuse me for 2 seconds, I'm just going to feed my bearded dragon a couple of these while I've got them out. Oh, yeah, or maybe he'll feed himself, you know, either way. You got no patience, do you? You're sick of woodies, sick of crickets, want some fatty mealworms. I'll chuck a few more in there. You can have them. There you go. There you go. Okay, let me put those away. Have a look at these comments. Sorry guys. Have you had experience with a wormer? I'm thinking of getting one. Yeah, I've had 5 wormers. Quite a few wormers actually. I really rate them. I reckon they're fantastic animals. One of my biggest regrets selling, sorry, I know this is really weird, but just getting the tripod out so I can move you guys around and say some other stuff. Yeah, one of my biggest regrets of selling some reptiles was a pair of de Grey wormers, de Grey Station. That's because they were such clean little examples of wormers, but they only got to about a metre, maybe just shy of a metre. So they were very small locality of wormers. So I reckon if I ever saw those come up, it might be one of those things that I'd try to find the space for again. So yeah, I know where I can potentially get some. So maybe I'll get some wormers again one day. But yeah, I mean, I've got enough animals now, plus I'm looking to move, so one day. Wormers are very food driven, that's all I can say. Is if you got food in the air, don't bother handling them, because they'll want to take you and every bit of food that is out. Did my Gillens lay any eggs? I was actually searching around today because the female looked like she was a little bit skinnier than usual. Check the nest box. I actually went through the whole enclosure and everything. I couldn't find anything, so unless she's put them in a spot that I just happened to not hit, which I doubt because I was pretty thorough. So maybe she just, yeah, I don't know, maybe it's a food baby that she laid out. But yeah, hopefully I'll get at least one clutch out of them this year. Yeah, a little bit weird not to have some eggs by them just yet, but it's been a little bit of a funny warm-up. You know, we haven't really, you know, usually October we start getting pretty hot days and stuff like that, and we haven't really had that. Not in my opinion, anyway. How are my diamond pythons going, mate? Can we see them? Yeah, you can. No stress. I'm pretty sure a couple of them will probably be... Yeah, one's sitting out at the moment. Just lower the tripod here. It's handy having this thing, means I don't have to carry it around all the time. So hopefully you can see that one sitting up there on the branch there. I'll get the keys and open it up so you don't see all the glare. There we go. Little fella hanging up there. You might notice that I've actually moved the heat panel. So I've put the heat panel on top of the mesh of the enclosure instead of having it inside of the enclosure now. I don't know why I didn't think about that in the beginning, to be honest. It's just one of those things that clearly slipped my mind, but at least for now I know that the animals can't get on top of it and hurt themselves by any means. We got a few comments rolling in. Yeah, no worries. I keep asking my wife for help, but she might come down here. I think she's worried about the standard that I liked everything to be cleaned. Sorry guys, I just got to keep bouncing the phone around while I try to read comments as well. In a few weeks I'm going to be building a 12 by 6 foot enclosure, and a few weeks after that I'm going to be getting a pair. What were we talking about with Dylan? A pair of olives. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Great size enclosure for a pair of them. I reckon that'd be fantastic. Especially if you've got a big pair, like that'll be an awesome display enclosure. Ackies and black-headed Gillens if... Whoops. Gillens if possible, and for the R2, Kimberley rock monitor if I can find one. Yeah, all awesome animals. I can definitely attest to that. South Australian Womas. I haven't had any South Australian Womas, unlike you and your Woma Stanley, EJ. Yes, maybe one day I'd like some South Australian Womas though. What reptiles do you usually breed and sell? To be fair, usually I sell any reptile that I breed. More often than not, I don't tend to keep a lot of backstock for myself. I did with the Gillens a couple of years back, but some years I get some stuff, some years I don't. Last year was a shocking year for me. I'm not sure how I'm going to get this year either, but I didn't get anything last year. I think I got a couple of Gillens out, a few black-headed monitors, and like a marbled velvet gecko and some children's pythons. It just depends on the year. Like this year I had the children's pythons go, but the eggs all went bad, unfortunately, so not exactly much I can do about that. Trying to breed the diamonds, so we'll see what happens there. I'm trying to breed a few leaf-tailed geckos, the Wyberbers, marbled velvet geckos, Gillens, blotched blue tongues, I said Gillens. Yeah, like there's a few things that I'm trying. It's just whether or not they do or not. So that's totally up to them. And if I get babies, I get babies, and that's a bonus. This is why I love black-headed pythons. Strangely different from any Womas I've met. Yeah, I don't disagree. Although I did have for a short period of time, I did have a black-headed python that was a bit of a rescue, and that thing was cranky. It was probably crankier than most of my Womas. So, who knows? Maybe, I don't know how it was treated before me. I don't think it was too crash hot, to be honest. So that may have something to do with it. But yeah, I do like black-headed pythons. If I had the space, I'd have a lot of big snakes. Have my diamonds bred for me? No, they haven't. This is the first year that I'm really giving them a crack, because the two younger ones are a little bit bigger. So I'm pinning all my hopes on one of those as being a boy that's up to the job. And the big girl that I've got, she's about 12 years old and well and truly big enough. But yeah, just whether or not she's going to do it for me. We'll see. I've hatched eggs and I've raised some babies, but they were all wild diamond eggs, so all those babies went straight back into the bush. Yeah, I know what you mean about that kind of like bluff hit and stuff from some bigger snakes. Okay, well, something else that I wanted to show you guys while I quickly had you on. I'm gonna stare at my skull again while I move this over it. This garage is a mess because of everything that I've been doing this Arvo. But I started another build. So this is a new enclosure, my new Exoterra enclosure. Been filling it up with foam today. That's been fun. Just gonna pop this snake on top of here and move my bearded geckos back to their rightful place. So yeah, this enclosure's been long overdue to be built. So I'm excited to get started on this. I've got to go buy one more thing of foam just to do the other side. This is going to take a while to all cure in. But it'll be interesting once it has. So it's going to be a lot of carving to do on this one. It's going to take a while for it to all dry up, just because of the sheer immensity of it in there. But a lot of it's going to be taken off. So don't expect it to look so fat and fluffy for so long. I will be getting rid of a lot of it. I'm going to move it again. Put it up on the table here, because I'm going to start feeding some some animals while I'm talking to you guys. I'll drop this down a little bit. Hey, that's a bit better. Alright. What's a good age to put 2 diamonds in the same enclosure? I'd say it's got more to do with size, really. Like, I have no problem putting small snakes together. Like my roughies just went together, they're year and a half old or so when I put them together. Those diamonds that I picked up, the 2 diamonds that I got from that lady that was giving them away, they're actually housed together for their whole life, so they've never known to not be housed with other diamonds, and my big girl, she didn't mind at all when she kind of took onto it. So, you know, if you're talking about breeding weights and things like that, males, you know, 500 grams, females, I'd say about 2 kilo, thereabouts. Can you cohabit, oh, sorry, I'm putting my fingers straight over the camera. Can you cohabitate olives of similar size? Do they have to be opposite or same sex, or just not at all? Don't know. I haven't tried it. I'm not sure if I would try it, just because olives are not too phased at eating a few reptiles here and there. If you were to ever do it, I'd just be doing opposite sex with those guys if you could. I don't think you should ever keep two males of any snake species together. Well, pretty much 2 males of any reptile species, especially in the presence of a female, will generally not end up well. So I wouldn't put 2 males together. But yeah, olives I probably wouldn't. They're one of those snake species that I think would do better by themselves. Should be picking up a 4-foot glass enclosure next weekend to do the same thing. Just started another one for a customer too. That's awesome, Cam. You're pumping out some good stuff. I wanted to do something like that, just been super lazy, and I've just done with that with a white 4-foot enclosure with the bark fence background. Someone burnt out. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's been a little while since I've done a build. I kind of really stopped after doing the roughy build for a bit, just on making things up. Just because I just needed a bit of a break, because that really took it out of me for a bit. So yeah, I figured it's been a while, and I'm pretty sure this one I'm actually going to do for my northern leaf-tailed geckos. So it's going to be a nice big enclosure, because those guys are going to get to a decent size. So, you know, I'm hoping this is going to be their forever home, which will be cool. What have you changed to hopefully get them to breed? I cooled them down for a lot longer. So they went for 3 months without any heat. No, I take that back. They went for 3 months with maximum of 6 hours of heat during the peak of the day. And that was just by the heat panel up the top. So I killed all the heat from the heat cord down the bottom. And then from there, I also had 1 month 0 heat. I just went up. You're getting ambient temperature in the garage, which, you know, it chills down overnight, but it's not too bad in here during the day. So that's what I did for them. So hopefully get some activity. And now I'm starting to really feed them a lot of food too. So I'm trying a bit of a food cycle as well. What do we got here? Hey Brad, how you going? Thanks for joining in. I tried to for the Patreons that are on here, I did try to get onto you guys earlier, but like the internet was absolutely not doing crash hot. So, and it wasn't long after that I lost the snake and found it again. So, yeah, for those of you that just have joined in, I managed to lose my brown tree snake while I was trying to feed it. She shot out over the top of me and ended up behind some enclosures that I had to move. And whilst I was trying to find her, I found a friend's snake that's been here for a little bit. He was hiding out behind a rack, so I'm glad that I'll be able to tell him after I finish this live video that, hey, I got your snake. So, yeah, there's a lot of rain around here at the moment, so that's why it's been pretty crappy, unfortunately. No worries at all, Anthony. What's the best way to feed a baby snake if they're refusing to eat? Well, now that I've found this other snake, I will probably be actually putting out a video on how I do feed some baby snakes. So that could help you. Otherwise, you might have to go down the roads of scenting things. So I'm actually starting to just because my brown tree snake's a pain in the bum with eating. I'm starting to scent her rodents and things with tuna brine, just plain tuna with spring water or whatever in there, just to get a bit of a fishy smell onto them, to see if that kind of encourages her to eat a little bit more. Hard to say what that's going to do, but hopefully she'll eat. So no news on the move just yet. I can report something that did happen. Is my wife, we had to kind of wait a bit of a period of time because it seemed like she was actually going to be potentially out of work. She's a travel agent, so not a great time to be a travel agent, unfortunately. But she's just got confirmation this week that she's going to be, her store's shutting, but she's going to be moving to another store. So she's still got a job. So we're going to still be hunting around for a place. So haven't found a place yet, but we still are looking for an apartment. So yeah, we'll still have to see what happens with all this. I still have an enclosure I'm building, same background, but I can't find any Murray Darlings around, so it's on the back burner for now. Whereabouts are you located? If you're looking for Murray Darlings, I mean, if you happen to be in Sydney, I know where one's hiding out. Nice one too. But unfortunately, there's no freight involved with that snake. Will you have less success if the male is larger than a female? Not necessarily. It just depends. If the male's too big, then he might not want to breed a female. So sometimes they can get a bit lazy when they get big. I hope it does, Jacqueline. But yeah, if not, like, yeah, there's plenty of little tips out there on YouTube that you can find, on feeding baby snakes and stuff. So that'll hopefully be able to help you. Brisbane, damn it. Yeah, if you're a Sydney, I'd definitely point you in the right direction of a good-looking little Murray Darling. Excuse me for 2 seconds, guys. I'm just going to pop one of my frogs' enclosures back up. I had to move it before when I was having to wheel everything around. Whoops. I had to disconnect all the water and everything, all the Miss King lines, and yeah, that was definitely a mission this afternoon. Didn't feel like doing that. I'm a little bit under the weather too, so always makes for good fun. Swing this around here a bit. Yeah, here's hoping, Brad. Thank you. Thanks for the support there too. Those guys there, they were some common eastern froglets. So little tiny guys, hence the tiny box. I'm actually going to feed a bunch of stuff quickly now as well while I'm chatting to you guys. But I will have to hop off soon-ish, like maybe another 15-20 minutes thereabouts, just because I've got to go have some tea myself. I need to find what I've done with my calcium jar. Oh, there it is. So first up on the menu is going to be some extra small crickets for a few guys. Going to quickly belt through feeding these guys. No worries, Cam. Talk to you soon. The league? I don't even follow league. I'm a union guy, but I don't want to talk about the bledders though. How do you treat your wood for your enclosures? It depends. It depends what animal's going in there with them. If it's something like a frog, then I generally won't do much to the wood, apart from leave it out in the sun and rain and stuff for a week or two, or even a month or two before using it, just to try to draw any nasties out of it. If you're talking snakes and stuff like that, generally I'll give it a good belting with some Mac Mite or some sort of mite spray, just to try to potentially kill or stop any risk of bringing in anything. Not that the likelihood's super high, but just in case, you know, I don't want to be bringing mites into my enclosures. I have done it once before. It's not fun, so dealing with that is never fun. Shook these crickets a little hard. They've all got a headache, unfortunately. Yeah, I wish I could have a pet 4-metre saltwater crocodile as well. I tried to convince Danny to move to Darwin just for that, but that didn't go down well. Pardon me. As I said, guys, I'm just going to whip through and feed a few things quickly. So sorry if I'm not showing you everything. Keep the questions rolling in though. I'll be back over there in 2 seconds. Just giving the beaded geckos a bit of a spray. And a couple of little crickets. And I have to get up and feed these commoners and froglets and things as well. Alright. Forgot to turn on the water for the Mist King again, just in case it leaked while I was looking for the snake. Oh, did you, EJ? That's pretty exciting. Did you get some baby crickets or something with it as well? I think that old guy actually bought us out of baby crickets on Friday or Saturday. I thought it was a little cheeky. We know a keeper who kept 9 juvenile crocodiles at one stage, and he had close to 50 elapids. Whew, he's doing good. That's a lot of work. Especially the elapids. Juvenile crocs, I'd say, are one thing, but you know, that's just putting a lot of food in. But you know, hats off to anybody that keeps a bunch of elapids. I can't handle one boiga. Just going through and feeding the little tiny frogs some extra small crickets. As for the common eastern froglets. And common eastern froglets, beaded geckos, and the Latoria bicolor, the northern sedge frogs, they all got some extra small crickets just now. Now I'm going to go on the smalls. So I don't know if everybody's seen these before. Well, these are just my feeding tubs. Nothing special, but if you did want to check out a video on how to build them, there's one in there. So go and check it out if you need to build yourself some bulk storage tubs. For your food. little white-lipped tree frog's growing up a fair bit now. He's finally got some decent size onto him. I did lose his mate though, unfortunately. He just seemed never right after I got him, but anyway, that's another story. He never bounced any good. While I have you live, the wife loves your Pico setup. How does one go about getting marine set up in an area that doesn't supply them, like the reef setups in general? You can get away with using regular fish tanks for them. Your biggest trauma is going to be actually, depending on where you live, will be either collecting, buying, or making your own salt water. So what you can do is you can buy yourself like a water purifier system called an RODI system. You can get them off eBay for about 170 bucks or something thereabouts. You can get one of those and essentially buy like the like marine salts and stuff that you can then mix up your water. So there's a few YouTube videos out there as well of how to do that. Maybe I should do one as well just to kind of show you. But as far as like the actual animals like fish and corals and stuff like that, you can actually buy them online. It's a bit risky because they're pretty fragile animals as it is, and it is nicer to almost buy an animal that you're looking at in a shop to make sure it is what you're after, whereas, you know, something turns up in a bag and it might not be the exact animal or the exact look or anything that you're after. So there are a few websites and stuff like that you can go onto and buy things online. Ones that I'd trust for livestock, I think, like things like gmarine.com.au, reefsecrets.com.au is pretty good. We don't actually sell fish online or anything at work. Yeah, there's a few places out there that do it. You're just going to have a bit of a scour around, or shoot me a message or whatever through Patreon or whatever, Brad, if you want to, and we'll go a little bit further into it, and I can send you some links and stuff like that. But yeah, happy to kind of point you in the right direction if you did want to set something up. And, you know, there are some kind of like little reef systems and stuff that you can just kind of buy off the shelf that have like lighting and filtration and all that sort of stuff as well. So I'm happy to find you some links for that sort of stuff when I get a spare sec. And if I don't, just make sure to hit me up again about it and just remind me, because I do get a lot of messages about things. But yeah, happy to help you out on that. More than happy. Well, that's no good at all, Jacqueline. I'd hate to be getting bitten by anything venomous. So that's pretty tough going. All right, get some of these smalls cranking. Might actually feed off a lot of smalls to a few different critters today. I'll see if I can actually give you a bit of a look at a couple of them, because at the end of the day, that's why you're here, not to look at my head. All right, where are you today? Oh, of course you are. Don't know how this is going to work. Let me see if I can get down the side here. There's a little northern leaf-tailed gecko there. Nice little character. And while I've got you guys up here before I do feed them, here's a little white-lipped tree frog as well. Looking very spotty. But yeah, doing very good. Definitely growing a lot compared to when I first got him. He was tiny. Still tiny, like there's my finger. He's not a big frog, but he's not a horrible size now. I'm feeling a lot more confident with how big he's getting. But yeah, his little mate that came up with him unfortunately passed away. He was just like, you'd watch him hop and he'd like, it was like neurological or something. He'd like hop and spin and flop around and stuff. So don't know what happened to him, the poor little bugger. You know, what do you do? Unfortunately, one of my most hated sayings, but it is the truth, is when you work with livestock, you got to be prepared for dead stock. And that doesn't matter whether it's a pet or whatever. Things can go wrong. And unfortunately, every now and then you do lose critters. that just comes part and parcel with owning these little fragile things. Filling these guys water dishes up while I'm giving them a bit of a soak down. Bit of an extra mist. Alright, you're fed. You're fed. No worries at all, Brad. I was bitten by a redback years ago, or years back rather. It was the worst pain I had experienced in my life. Hey Nicholas, how you going? I'm very glad that you love my channel. Thank you for tuning in with your dad and your mum. I really appreciate the support. And I can't say that I would want to get bitten by a redback at all. That's unfortunately why I squashed a couple today just while I was trying to find these snakes. Wasn't something that I was willing to risk. But yeah, these things have to be done every now and then. Oh, I've got to show you this little Peron's tree frog. Hopefully I can catch a look at him. Oh, not my head. This guy's head. Hey, there he is. Hey fella. Hey, you're trying to eat me. Bop, 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 bop. Off he goes. Got some awesome green spots on his back, that one. Check that out. Very underrated frogs. Such cool little critters. That one's starting to get some nice yellow and stuff under his or her front legs as well. I need to fill up that water bowl, I should say. Let me do that while I think of it. So yeah, this new enclosure that I'm setting up, this other bioactive tank, I shall be using Corey from Fish Organics bioactive kits in it. And yeah, it should be quite interesting setting that all up. I've done a few of these bioactive kits now. They just make life so easy. There's no mucking around. You can kind of just take like a whole box off a shelf and put a cool bioactive tank together with it. At least you get all the substrate and clay balls and screens and things like that you need. Little cultures of bugs. Alright. Just wanted to get some water into those bromeliads while I was here as well. What do we got going on here? Oh yeah? They are awesome, awesome frogs. Oh, that's awesome to hear, Ziggs. Is it Ziggs? Yeah, Ziggs. Yeah, that's awesome to hear. I'm glad I could help you out in any way, shape or form. I need to actually seed a whole bunch of springtails into my green tree python terrarium because there is an outbreak of mold that I've just discovered. So that clearly tells me that there is not enough cleanup crew in this tank. So I'm going to do that while I'm thinking of it as well. Because if I don't do stuff while I'm thinking about it, I'll forget it. And I don't want to do that. Luckily, I have a metric ton of springtails. I just got to find a culture that I'm willing to split up. been really bad lately. I haven't been feeding these guys as much as I should have. Usually I can tell which one's my master culture when I see it, but yeah, okay. Cool. So I just found one of my good springtail cultures. I'm going to fill it up with water and seed these right into this enclosure. And the reason you fill it up with water is so you can see these guys floating like this. You can see all these little guys hopping around. So that's what I'm going to pour straight into this enclosure. Straight into this enclosure to help me get rid of that mold. I still want to leave a whole ton in the actual thing itself. But there's a stack of them in there now. Pour a few more in. That should hopefully help break all of that down for me. Because I don't like doing work. Not if I don't have to. One of the few streams to watch religiously, Ziggs says Australia has nothing. South Australia has nothing on this guy. I'm not sure 100% what you're saying there, Brad. But thank you. What's the best way to introduce diamonds together? I'm getting a high yellow diamond and like the gold one, hoping to put it in with my diamond. They're both small still. Just do it slowly. Just start introducing them together outside of the enclosure and see how they react. Because if you happen to have like a really timid snake or one that's a little bit sketchy, you know, you don't want them to get angry with each other. So that would be my recommendation, is go slow. What was that? SAS Australia has nothing on this kind of love. Yes, I don't think I'd be ever going on that show. I am definitely not up to scratch to go on any show like that. Not saying that that's what you're saying, but if you're trying to relate me to those guys, they're pretty tough fellas. Give them that. Yeah, as far as introducing your snakes together, I'd probably just do it slowly. And I'd wait, like, you know, if you were going to try to leave diamonds together or anything, maybe just wait until they're a year or two old at least, and then go from there. Just so you can kind of get them nice and well established. A few bugs in there, a few bugs in there. That one's empty because he's hopefully breeding. Just thinking out loud here. Oh, I desperately need to clean some enclosures. Yeah, I don't know if I said it before, but I've been not well. This last week I've had really, really bad ear pain. A little while ago I got told that I have chronic sinusitis. I don't know why my alarm's going off. Yeah, I got told that I had chronic sinusitis. So, back on antibiotics for another month to try to break up all that crap. Not fun. Let's see if we can see these frogs hunting. Oh. So this is the red-eye tree frog tank. I love these guys. Check out that. Wait, he's gone. Where'd he go? Tell you what, you're blinking, you miss him sometimes. There he is. See two of them. The other guy's up here. They're Such beautiful little guys. Oh, there we go. That makes 3. I was half that frog just exploded all over the glass. I hate cleaning glass. I absolutely hate cleaning glass. I need to buy a new box of razors to help me do it. Yeah, these little guys have been down hunting away. Forgot what I was saying before that. Yeah, I got bad sinuses at the moment, so not feeling too great. Should probably shut that up before they jump out. I don't need to chase any more critters around today. Hey, you gotta love carpets. Oh, referring to better viewing. Oh, if that's on now, my family's probably watching it. I'm not really fussed on it either. My one is about 10 months old. Want to try to breed my normal diamond with the high yellow diamond one day. Yeah, you probably just have to wait until they're about 4 or 5 years old, I'd say, until you want to try breeding diamonds. So I lost a brown tree snake right in front of my eyes, which was the most painful part of it. It got away from me as I was feeding. I was trying to feed it, and it got out and got behind some enclosures that I had to pull apart and go to find it. And I actually found a friend's children's python that I lost here 6-7 weeks ago in the process. So now that I've got both of them back, I'm absolutely cheering. But for a good period of time there, I was absolutely packing it, thinking I've lost my precious snake. So anyway, got him back, so happy days. I lost my children's python. It took about 6 hours, but I found him, thank goodness. I'm assuming that's hours and not years, but that's awesome. It's always a good story when you find them. But it makes for a hard lesson when you don't. So I've had to experience that one myself. That's okay. What are my thoughts on pygmy pythons? I absolutely love pygmy pythons. I'd love to own pygmy pythons. The only reason that I don't is they're not common, unfortunately. So yeah, I think if I got my hands on them, I'd be pretty stoked. I'd definitely be doing them in a mad setup though. Like it's not the kind of animal that I'd want to be doing in a tub. I want to do mad setups for my Stimsons and my children's and stuff, but it's just all space. So, you know, if I end up with a place that I can do it, or if I end up downsizing some of my animals or something like that, like one day I want to have everything that I have in display enclosures that are really nice. So that is my ultimate goal. I kind of said that to Cooper actually years ago, maybe a year or two ago. I remember when I was looking at one of his videos that he did on my collection a couple of years ago, and it was all tubs and everything here. I look back on that now and go, that's disgusting, you know, but that's just, yeah. I'm a lot happier with how things are going now. I like being able to walk in here and actually physically see stuff and appreciate everything for what they are. Where do you get your mackerel ugly from? I'm wanting to set up a lagoon tank for my epaulet shark, or any ideas on some easy corals for it? Epaulet shark. I'm very jealous. We got one of those at work. They're awesome, awesome animals. It depends where you are. Like if you're in Australia like I am, they can be very hard to come across, unfortunately. So I go around to, well, at work, like I'll pick it off Live Rock and stuff when that comes in, or even if you go to other fish shops and stuff like that, just see if they've got some on Live Rock and just try to buy like the little chunks of Live Rock that have macroalgae on it, just so you can start it off in aquariums. I've been kind of collecting macros for, oh cool, you're in Brisbane. Yeah, I've been collecting macros now for maybe about a year, and I've got 3 or 4 different types of caulerpa, but I don't have anything crazy like the Americans do. We unfortunately don't have anywhere that I can find online to buy things like Dragon's Breath and stuff like that. So, you know, if you can find some, I'd just scour Live Rock tanks, like proper Live Rock tanks too, not like tanks where the shop's setting it up to just kind of cure bacteria in base rock or anything like that, like harvested from the ocean Live Rock. That's where you're going to find most of your macros. You also probably find pests and things, but Coral wise, in the display tank at work where we've got our epaulet shark and other big predators and stuff, we've just got big things like leathers and xenia and just easy stuff, and it's all under basic LED lighting and stuff. So yeah. All right. I'll have to think about. I can't put a name to a face when I can see a tiny icon on here, but yeah. No, I'm glad that you're jumping back on, and especially that you've gotten into sharks too. That's always cool. Do rough skull pythons come with a painful bite as opposed to similar size species? Yeah, I agree with Gotta Love Carpet Pythons right there. They do have bigger teeth. I've been bitten by mine a couple of times when they're actually a little bit smaller, and for their size, they did pack a little bit of a punch, I have to say, because you do feel that extra mil or two of teeth when they're that size. So yes, I definitely noticed the difference there myself. Alright, I'm going to have to almost wrap this up here, guys. So if you've got any other questions you want to chuck my way, do it for now, or forever hold your peace until next Sunday or whenever I'm on. I've still got to try to feed this bloody brown tree snake again. More crickets, more crickets, more crickets. Did I miss any questions there? I've managed to get some isopods and springtails, and now I have a huge colony of them. I have them in my bio tank for my spotted python. That's cool. Yeah, I need to do more with isopods and things, but yeah, we don't have a big range here, so we've actually got to take them out of the bush ourselves, essentially. There's not really anybody online selling them. The one thing I have noticed is they're not the kind of animal that reproduces a lot, so all very quickly, so... Sorry guys, I'm just going to be bringing you down here. I just noticed something a little bit interesting. I'm hoping I haven't noticed it too late, to be honest. But this is my, down here, this is my Wyberba leaf-tail enclosure. And just now I've just noticed that the water bowl has been completely dug in, like it's covered in dirt. So that tells me that something's been digging around in here. I don't know if I'm seeing this right. I'm hoping that these aren't going to be bad. But I can see some little white, what looks like eggs, down the front here. But I don't know if they are. What are you? No, they weren't eggs. I've seen a few mushrooms and things come up in these tanks in the past, which is always a bit weird. But something's still been digging in here, so that still tells me that there's potential for some eggs hanging around. So, you know, if you're here, come along with me and let's see if we find something interesting. Hopefully we do. If not, you're just going to watch me dig in a tank, so... I was just about to pop some crickets in, but see if I can get you guys a bit of a better angle too, rather than just the back of my head. Sorry. Being a bit selfish there. All right. I've never bred leaf-tailed geckos, so I'd absolutely love if there was some eggs in here. And a few of the females have been looking pretty chunky recently. So it'd be very cool, very, very cool if I could get my hands on some leafy eggs. I don't know where or why. It's like they've been scratching around. They've clearly been scratching around. This is probably about the 4th time that I've kind of come in here and everything just looks like really out of place in this enclosure. I keep feeling like I'm missing something. Or I clearly am missing something. Sorry, I'm just trying not to get my head in your shot. Have you guys been laying eggs and not telling me? 'Cause that's a bit rude. Check this out. Fortunately not an egg, but part of this setup, there's big worms in here. They all help. Yeah, I know. Lighting wise, I'm using high output T5 globes off eBay. Yeah, look, if you've just got that big Reptile 1 tank, like you could probably get away with just one monsoon system, like a single monsoon system, or one with like a dual outlet or something like that. But if you want something that's like super good quality, then yes, Miss King's going to be awesome, especially if you're going to eventually join it up to any other setups or anything like that, then I'd definitely invest in the Miss King system over the monsoon. Especially seeing as you can kind of customize the size of your reservoir and stuff for Miss King. So I've got a 20 litre reservoir that I probably only have to fill up once every couple of months or so, so I don't really have to worry about it, which is great. But yeah, you could get away with one of those monsoon systems, no stress. Man, this is really confusing me now. I don't know if a gecko's just got a problem with water bowls and just likes to fill in water bowls, or whether I do actually have eggs in here. The downside to these vertical branches is it doesn't make digging easy. Kind of have to dig around everything. I'm probably going to come into this enclosure one day and just see like little baby geckos running around, and then just like I did with the Gillen's monitors. Not that I think that's a bad thing. But I do like trying to control my eggs. I almost need to have enclosures on like slide out racks so I can look at the bottom of them and see if they've got any eggs in them. But for some reason I just thought that there might have been some eggs down the front there, but they must have been like little mushrooms or something, so there you go. Yeah, fingers crossed, EJ. I'd love to see around the back of these plants here. Oh, I don't like bending my plants like that, but... Hey, sorry, mate. Don't mean to freak you geckos out. But what have you been doing with eggs? Are we getting eggs or what? Oh, it's such an awkward tank to dig in as well. Sorry guys, don't mean to turn my back on you. Oh. I did find some. Don't know if they're any good, but I found some. There's one. And there's two. Look how dirty they are, but they're definitely eggs. So that's pretty cool. Sorry guys, didn't mean to pretty much destroy your whole enclosure to find them, but... Alright, sorry guys, just put my hand over the camera again. Give me 2 secs, I'm just gonna show you how I make up a tub for these real quick. Without hopefully rolling them. I'll have to read up on how to incubate these buggers. But I think it's going to be somewhat along the lines of almost room temperature, to be honest. So I may even take them upstairs and put them in the bedroom with Dan and I, just because they'll be a little bit more controlled room temperature versus the garage. But yeah, I'll reassess it once I read my book, so I'll do that again tonight and double check. But I use these little incubation containers made by Ironbark Pets, so I'm just going to dedicate this little container to these guys. I'd be so stoked even if I got one of these guys to hatch. That'd be fantastic. I'm a little bit fanatical when it comes to leaf-tailed geckos, I have to say. So I've just sprayed a little bit of water in the bottom of that container. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to grab these eggs now before I knock them around again and pop them into here. How cool is that though? You don't see that all the time. Especially not on a live stream. That's pretty cool, digging those up. Hopefully they go alright. They look covered in dirt. But that's pretty typical for these kinds of things. So I might see if I can brush a bit of the dirt off with a toothbrush or something later. Not one that I'll use again. We'll make that clear. But yeah, very cool find. Stoked to have found them. That'd be really cool. So these leaf-tailed geckos, they're nice ones. These guys are I always get it wrong. Salturius Wyberba. guys back down this way. Salterius. Yeah, need to redo my Latin for these guys. I'm just going to press this all back down too, just because that's going to help, you know, somebody wants to lay another one next, another clutch or so next. Hopefully this clutch is good. I really hope it's good, especially around that spot. So I'll just remember that's a bit of a favourite spot apparently, so need to add a bit more leaf litter into this tank too. We'll hose out this little bowl. That was a cool find. You know what? I may very well end it on a high, guys. So thank you for joining in for today's video. I'm going to finish up here and just muck in, so I know dinner's probably just around the corner for me. So thanks for joining in. Really appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me and stuff. So I shall talk to you soon. Should have a couple of videos coming out very shortly as well. I think tomorrow I'm going to be filming a couple more. So yeah, look out for, I'll probably have the next one out on Tuesday morning, I'd say, at this rate. And everyone, have a great night. I'll catch you all very, very soon. And I can't remember how to end this, so here we go. Night, guys.